There are 3 new leagues added to Football Manager 26. From now on, you can play the game in Egypt, United Arab Emirates and Lithuania. In this video, we will pick a random team from each of those leagues and play out a season with them. Have you tried playing in any of the new leagues, or are you going to do so? Let me know in the comments down below, as we are heading into our first adventure. Our first league to conquer is the League of Egypt. There, we can only manage in the top flight, and out of 21 teams available, we will take charge of Farko, a team that just wants to avoid relegation. Farko FC is located in the major city of Alexandria, a city founded by the Macedon king Alexander the Great in 331 before Christ. Alexander the Great, who founded the city, and just a few months later refused to elaborate and left it forever. The more you know. This city also had one of the biggest libraries in the ancient world, which may have had as much as 400,000 books possibly stored there, until Julius Caesar came to the town and burned everything to the ground. The more you know. Unfortunately, Ollie, this is not a history lesson. All you have to know in context of this episode is that Farko FC was founded in 2010. It's related to Farko Corporation, which is a pharmaceutical company, and got promoted to the top flight in 2021. In the most recent season, the club finished 7th, so I don't understand how they are the relegation favorites. To combat that, let's first build our team. According to the league rules, we can only have 5 foreigners in the squad. Thankfully, we have only 4 of them, so there is a slot for 1 more foreign star. But first, let's get to know our current team. I have decided to set our squad in a counter-attacking 4-3-3 formation. Our goal is to quickly move the ball to the penalty area and take as many attempts as possible, as quickly as possible. Our introduction to both the squad and press went very well, although I also found the time to be a little bit savage during my first conference. I also realized we're absolutely lacking in staff. With just 2 staff members, it's impossible to stay up even in Egypt. So, I decided to find the best Egyptians to become our staff members and ended up with a complete backroom team. Hopefully, these men will help us prepare for the season, but even with them, we're still predicted to finish last. And what's worse, despite having over 4 million euros available, we cannot even make any transfers, because the window will only open in January. However, we have to leave all those problems behind. Our first game is about to begin. Our first opponents, Ghazal El Mahala, who haven't won the league since 1973. He makes a pass back to Mohamed Sayed, who takes control of the ball, passes back to Kamel, who makes a cross to Mostafa. There will be no penalty. Oh, it's actually given. We have a chance to open our season with a goal from a penalty. It's Busaku who puts it around the middle, and we open up the scoring to our man Mostafa on the right wing. And we launch a long one to El Taib. I didn't necessarily say to these players that they have to send long balls. I've told them to do standard balls, so when you have a chance, then try to pass it forward. But if you don't, you don't. And now Grando scores. Sayed, back to Kamel. Unfortunately, our star Bubakar Ndiaye cannot play, as we have the ball on the left side, and Busaku completes a brace. Fernandes gets past the defender, makes a pass to a box. Walid Mostafa scores the 3rd goal. Then the long one to El Tayeb, finds Osama, who scores a goal straight from the bench. We've won our very first match with Farko FC. What a start to the season. Maybe after all, we're not the relegation favorites. The first games showed that we like to have matches with quite a lot of goals, and we are quite literally on both sides of the equation. One time we get demolished 6-3 by the Pyramids, and the other we demolished Smoha 5-1. Good news is that overall we are capable of winning games, and after 6 matches, we were 2nd in the league. And I hope it's not just a positive start. There are 2 very successful teams in Egypt. One of them is Zamalek, who won the league title 14 times and were the runners-up on 34 occasions. Why am I mentioning them right now? Because Zamalek are our opponents in game week 7. And it looks like, unfortunately, it's a penalty. It's a pen for Farash. Unfortunately, opens up the scoring for Zamalek. Finds Busaku. El Tayeb back to Busaku. Has a chance. 1v1. Scores an equalizer. This draw shows that we can genuinely fight. Our early stars in the club are the left winger Yahia Busaku, who is our top scorer with 7 goals so far, and a striker Karim El Tayeb with 5 goals and 5 assists. Unfortunately, they will not get any new teammates, and the reason is very simple. You cannot even register the players during the winter. I still signed Youssef Sharif as a free agent, but you'll only see him in the cups, so we have to keep going with what we have. And then the registration randomly opened. So I guess Yusuf Sheriff, welcome to the team! And we also have this competition called the League Cup. In this tournament, you are thrown into a group with 6 other Egyptian Premier League teams and play each other once. Winners of each of the 3 groups, as well as the best runner-up, advance to the semi-final, where it's a simple knockout round. In our group, we finished second, but it's Pyramids who absolutely destroyed everyone and went to the knockouts, where they absolutely crushed the opposition. There's also a proper Egypt Cup, but in the first round, our opponents were Zamalek, and after a 0-0 draw, we lost on penalties. January was the most intense period of the season. We played 5 league games in 10 days, and honestly, we did quite well. We only suffered 1 loss in this run against Al Masry. Other than that, we ended the month with 3 wins in a row, and it means, after 15 games, we were second. But almost every team has games in hand, so I think at best, we'll just qualify to the championship group. But what even is the championship group? In Egypt, because it's crazy hot for like 12 months every year, there isn't that much space to organize matches. So, the 21 teams only play each other once in the regular season, the top 7 qualify for the championship group, while the rest play it out in the relegation stage. And now, let's qualify to the championship group. We won 2-1 over Modern Sport, and now it's time for by far the biggest team in the country. Al Ahly, a team that lifted the Egyptian League trophy 45 times, as well as 12 African Champions Leagues. So it was time to see if we could turn our season from just a cool underdog story to becoming real championship contenders.
Oh no, already a heavy injury you're telling me? This game is just insane. And we've conceded a goal at the same time. What is going on with Football Manager 26? Mohamed Sherif from Al Ahly somehow scores while we're getting injured. Let me show what's happened here. We've got Sherif here passing the ball, our Sherif. More passes, Ndiaye. We lose possession. I expect we'll see a couple of passes around here. And they tap in. And unfortunately, it looks like it's a penalty. And Sheriff will have a chance to double the scoring. No, it's Zizo. Zizo takes it. Brilliant ball to the right side. Honestly, Al Ahly are playing some beautiful football here. And Sheriff gets the header. Our keeper could not save it. And it's free. Just find the guy on the right side. Mustafa was there. Or get the ball in the middle. Busaku has a chance now to make it a tap in or score. It's 3-1. Afsha finds Sheriff, who makes a strike. It's 4. And we unfortunately suffer a heavy loss. Al Ahly are on the way to the top of the table. Looks like we're still not on the level of the country's best. Thankfully, this did not disturb our form. We won the 3 remaining games of the regular season and safely qualified to the championship group in a very comfortable 4th place. However, despite finishing our regular season in early March, we did not play a single game until April, because we had to wait for Pyramids and their Champions League shenanigans. After winning 5-1 over rock bottom Ismaili, Pyramids took the lead, and it was a 2-hole race for the title between them and Zamalek. Our hopes were that we could maybe snatch a podium finish, as we first took on Pyramids. Unfortunately, we quickly conceded first goal from the rebound. By the end of the first half, we lost another. When we had a chance, we could not convert it. And to the random penalty 60 minutes in, it was already 3-0. Mohamed Chibi also scored this spectacular free kick right before the final whistle, and I guess Pyramids demolished a pharmaceutical company again. Also, for some reason, there's someone called Messi in the Egyptian league. The MLS move never happened, ladies and gents, it was all a dream. With another heavy loss, this time to Al Ahly, we knew we only had a chance for a 4th place at best. We also lost 4-3 to Zamalek, got that draw over National Bank, and won 1-0 over Al Masry. With this, we finished last in the championship group, but in the league, we stayed in 4th place, by far the best in Farkos history. Pyramids won the league just 1 point ahead of their title rivals. They also would have added the Egypt Cup, but they got destroyed by Ceramica Cleopatra in extra time. Right after the final game, I also checked our youth intake, where we had 2 massive talents. A goalkeeper Amir Shafki, a forward Abdallah Shaban, and there was also this decent left back Amgad Mustafa. With them being signed by us, our short adventure in Egypt was officially over. Now, we're moving into the United Arab Emirates. And as I'm on the plane and about to find out what team is next, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. Only about 13% of my viewers do so, and I've got some cool saves prepared for this year's game, so it would be cool if you didn't miss out on them. Thank you! And now, which team from the UAE we're going to take over? We've only got the top flight in the United Arab Emirates, and there we can pick one of 14 teams, and which one is going to be ours? Let's find out! We are so close from Shabab Al Ali, which is like one of the title contenders. Instead, we're getting Korfakan. Compared to Dubai or the capital city of Abu Dhabi, Korfakan is a village, populated by only 43,000 people. But if you ever plan to go and visit this place, you've got this quite huge amphitheater, or a mosque with quite decent lighting, or a cheese park. But what about football? Korfakan Club started out in 1981 as Al Khali. It's only named Korfakan since 2017, and this rebrand must have helped. In 2019, they got promoted to the top flight, and since then stayed in its lower half with no danger of going down. Our goal is to help them level up and maybe look forward to qualifying for some continental competitions, which we can achieve by finishing in the top 4. So let's see the team. What we can see is a bunch of quality players around the age of 30. Our biggest stars will be Selim Amalah, a central midfielder who's also a Morocco international, his countryman up front Tariq Tusudali, or a Brazilian inside forward Laurent C. Our biggest issue is the back line, with Serrano Seymour being our best player at defense. Thankfully, we've got 8 million euros to spend, so obviously first, I filled in the staff. It's kind of a tradition at this point. Then, I signed Mohamed Omar Al-Attas at centre-back. He joined us for 800,000 euros from Al Jazeera. But how will our players play? This time, I went for a narrow 4-2-3-1, focused on the high-tempo play and gegenpress. Also, I just found out we played a friendly match with Fleetwood Town, except it wasn't Fleetwood Town, it was Fleetwood United, from near Dubai. Unfortunately, we will not find out how we are rated before the season, because it all glitched. So I guess our best course of action is to play our first match in the UAE. Our first opponents are Al Jazeera, and their goal was to show our season will be very difficult. Who gets past our defender, who just stays up front, makes a pass, and it somehow finds the net. Makes a cross to the near post, Simon Banza doubles the scoring. And the stands have gone absolutely silent, understandably so, they're pretty much empty. And they are watching a potential penalty here. Takes a shot, and to the left side of the goal he scores. It's free. It's a disaster of a start to the season, we have to admit that. Traore down the right wing again. Pavlov is absolutely being demolished today. Traore gets past Seymour as well, scores the 4th. Makes it to the near post, Pierre Koundé. At least it's a consolation finally. Fekir with a chance, and this time he scores from the near post. Traore with pass to Adel, who makes a low strike. Oh wow, this season will be tough. And what's worse, in the very second match, we're taking on one of the 2 biggest sides in the country. One of the 2 teams comes from the city of Al Ain. It's a top team historically, with a record of 14 league titles, and they're the only team from the UAE to win the Asian Champions League. Their name is Al Ain FC. The other comes from Dubai. They won the most recent league title, and are managed by Paulo Sousa. Everyone from Poland is getting nightmares now. Their name, Shabab Al Ahli. Shabab are also our very next opponents, who will take on at our home. And that's a goal already. Again in the very first minute, Mr. Maximovic scores. Our fullbacks are basically a disaster. Koundé, Boamorte, Amalah with chance, and we scored a goal. Boamorte gives us hope in this match. Finds Le Seung-gyun. Le Seung-gyun finds Kameni, who has a chance, but it's a disallowed goal. And now Shabab launches a counter. Kartabia has a chance to maybe even close this game, but he does not. Al Hassani with a save. He's got the cross, and we somehow find the net. Vonduje scores an equalizer. Koundé, he finds Le Seung-gyun, who has a chance to make it a winner. 77.5 minutes in, we turned it all around from 2-0 down. Going down the left wing, making a cross to... Oh! He's hit the post, Kartabia. We take a huge win after a disaster that was the game against Al Jazeera. I take it as a huge W. Also, what is happening? What was happening behind our screen? What a comeback! Honestly, this is my first big match in this game. But I still don't think our team is good enough to challenge the top teams throughout the entire season. So before the transfer window closed, I signed João Victor from Banias for 1.5 million at left back, Ahmed Yabil from Shabab at right back for 350,000 and Alvaro for 650,000 to be a substitute up front. What I saw throughout this season is a whole lot of players with experience in the big European leagues. Nabil Fekir, Mohamed El Neni, Nemanja Maksimovic, Sardar Azmoun or Adel Tarabt are just a few of them.
but we refused to crumble under that type of pressure. We achieved wins over Al-Bataih, Al-Wahda and Al-Wasl. 2 more draws and only 1 loss resulted in a very promising start to the season. We were 4th in the league with a real chance of getting a podium finish. But the next match will be the one that will decide our fate. It's time to take on UAE's biggest club, Al Ain FC. If we win, there is a chance to really step into the title race. However, we'll have to cope without Pierre Koundé, because for some weird reason I never got to know, he's not available.
And Al-Babi down the right wing, but we kick the ball out. And looks like Ratnik is not bothered over winning that ball. Amalek gets past him and somehow makes it 1-0 for us. And it's Rahimi who will take it. After this we want to make changes. And this near post finds Kwame Antude. Amalek. He's going down the left wing. And he cuts inside now. What a solo run already. He was disturbed by nobody. Selim Amalek with the 2nd goal tonight. And it's again Kwame on the near post, but this time he does not get to the ball. Abbas has a chance to make a tap-in. Now Abbas finds Rahimi again, and after a deflection, it's disallowed for Nasser Shadli. Ladies and gentlemen, the glitch is happening again for some reason. This must be specific to this ground. But it doesn't really matter. We won over Al Ain after our starman, Selim Amalek, scored a brace. After this win, we found ourselves in 2nd place, only 2 points behind Al Jazeera. Although we lost to Shariah FC, this was just a minor speed bump. With wins over Al Dafra and Banias, we rounded up the 1st round in a fantastic 3rd place. Champions League qualification is possible, but I think we're quite far from challenging for a title. The Emirati League system is very simple. We just played everyone twice, home and away. 2 of the worst sides go down, while the top 4 qualify for Asia. So if we keep up our form, a podium finish is a real option. There's also the Arabian Golf Cup, in which you play in a 2-leg knockout round against all the other teams from the ADNOC Pro League. Unfortunately, this is the only mention of this tournament in this video. We lost twice to Al-Wahda with a 2-1 result in both games and were knocked out. The other cup is the President's Cup, which is a simple knockout competition, including all ADNOC Pro League clubs and 2 clubs from lower leagues, who contest for the final 2 slots. Our opponents in the round of 16 were Shariah, and Ailton Boamorte helped us achieve a comeback win. We then got demolished 4-0 by Shabab Al-Ahli in the quarters. So, our focus is on the league. The first match of the 2nd round was again against Al Jazeera, the leaders of the league. This game is crucial for us, and it looked like Al Jazeera felt bad for their thrashing us last time out. We literally took the lead thanks to an own goal. Then, Ilyas Lagrimi, Al Jazeera's left back, was sent off. Early into the 2nd half, our right back Jamil doubled the lead. He then scored again, making it 3. Pedro Pavlov at left back did not want to be any worse, and he scored the 4th goal after a deflection. Nabil Fekir may have given a consolation for Al Jazeera, but that was nowhere near enough. We demolished the leaders, and we may have potentially slightly disrupted their title run. We then pushed forward. We achieved wins over Shabab, Ayman and Kalba, and somehow we found ourselves in the lead. A loss to Al-Wahda did not help, but we were still tied on points with Al Jazeera and with a game in hand. That game in hand was a 3-all draw against Diba, but Al Jazeera also had a far from optimal form, and so we were 1 point ahead of them. We then won 2-1 over Al-Wasl, lost to Al Ain 3-0 and drew Al Dafra 1-0. With 3 matches to go, we still had a real chance of winning the league, but our dip in form could stop us, as well as 4 other teams that are 4 points or less behind us. So I called the meeting, eased our expectations. The players agreed, and we lost 3-0 to Al Nassr, dropping us to 4th. With a goalless draw to Shariah, we knew our title chances were over. Al Jazeera won the Emirati Pro League, and the best we could fight for was 2nd place. Our opponents were already relegated at rock bottom Banias, so if either Al-Wahda or Al-Wasl lose, we have a shot at becoming runners-up. Omi Saleh makes a pass, and this ends up in a goal for Mubarak Bani Zamach. Victor launches a long ball to Laurent C. Laurent C. What a Rabona cross! Honestly, looks like he's looking for a chance on the right wing. Makes a pass to Ortega. Laurent C to Pavlov down the left wing. He's looking for a cross. He makes it. Kameni scores to an empty net. That's 3-1. And this is the end of our season in the United Arab Emirates. Overall a positive season, but also it feels like we could have gotten so much more. One final info about this league. The youth intake happens around mid-March, but the only somewhat decent player in our intake was a centre-back Khaled Al-Sheikhi. With it, we rounded up our adventure
in the United Arab Emirates. But there is still one more league we have to test. We're finally in Europe, and we visit Lithuania for the first time. Again, we only have the top flight available, and we can only choose one of 10 teams. So as we did it twice already today, let's find out. Who are we going to take charge of? And it turns out we'll take charge of Hegelman. Now I realized I messed up something, and quite heavily. We've joined in July, right before the first Conference League matches, so I have to set up the save again to play out the whole season. I'm basically brilliant. Now you might be wondering, what's wrong with a July start? That's pretty simple to explain. The Lithuanian league may have gotten a decent climate, but they still opt to play a summer season. Instead of the usual season starting in August and ending in May, we instead start in March and end in November. And what about our team? Hegelman is a club located in the outskirts of Kaunas, Lithuania's second largest city. They were only founded in 2009 by a German logistics company called Hegelman. You did not see that coming. The club won promotion to the top flight in 2020 and instantly became a force to reckon with, and in the last 2 years achieved its biggest success. Hegelman finished the Lithuanian league as runners-up in both 2024 and 25. Our task is very simple. See if we can slightly change history and maybe get Hegelman their maiden league title. We will also get to play in Europe, starting from the first qualifying round of the Conference League, but we'll only check on that later in this video. First, we have to prepare and start our campaign in the league. But when I looked at this squad, I found out there were only 17 people in our team. That's not even enough to fill the bench, and all of them are running out of contracts. Thankfully, there were some okay players in the B team, which brought the number up to 20. But that's not enough, so we have to go and look for someone. We were given 400,000 euros to spend, which may be modest, and it is, because I first extended most of the contracts. Our staff for once was actually decent. The only man I needed to sign is a chief scout, so we welcomed Tadas Lukosevicius. However, the only players Tadas was looking for were pretty much the free agents. One of them was a right back Sigitas Urbis, but as you can well and truly see, he chose Panevežis. So we made no transfers before the season started, and we will still not find out where we are predicted to finish. The only source we got was this article, where we're finishing in 3rd. But it doesn't really matter. We are now starting our adventure in Lithuania. Our first opponents, Banka Gagdai, an established Lyga side. We're going to take on them with a 4-3-3 with 2 defensive midfielders. We are focusing on direct football and hoofing it long to our target forward Abdelkader Enjoya. Starts the play, we'll be looking for a cross to Enjoya, who gets that header, opens up the scoring for us. Is by the byline, making a cross, and thankfully our keeper clears it, but it goes back to the ones in orange. And we have a long shot that hits the crossbar, gets past our right back. Filipavicius with a header, misses it thankfully. Going to the byline, we'll be looking for a low cross, pass back to Filipavicius, and that hits the post. We're so lucky again. Our first 11 is fantastic, I think, but substitutes, that's a different level, and it's worrying me, especially with this yet another opportunity. It was a lucky win, and it exposed one thing. Our starting 11 may have been fantastic, but the substitutes were nowhere near the required level. And when our primary left back Stefan Radinovic got injured, I started panicking. I loaned Nelson Abian from Žalgiris Vilnius and Kaka from Kauno Žalgiris. Nelson came from the most successful team in the country. Žalgiris Vilnius won the Lithuanian League 11 times, were runners-up further 13 times, and so far are the only team to make it to the European group stage. The 22-23 Conference League to be exact, where they finished at the bottom. But it was a respectable effort at least. Žalgiris Vilnius are also our opponents in game week 9. Enjoya. Finds Ribeiro, back to Enjoya, who takes a strike, first touch, and he instantly scores 14 minutes in. Unfortunately, it's Žalgiris' turn, as this was offside, thankfully. This win marked our very promising start to the season. We were invincible after 9 games, but even with that in mind, we were still second. For a very simple reason, we just did not score much. And every time we won, the result was just a 1-0. The Lithuanian top flight only gets 10 teams involved, so to make sure the clubs can play all season long, everyone plays each other 4 times. Twice home and twice away. Will this help us keep up our high form? I mean, we could keep our top 3 position, yeah, but we also started losing games. Only 2 of them so far, but it's not looking that good anymore. However, it was the second match against Žalgiris Vilnius that was a piece of absolute cinema. A penalty goal from Jansonas, as well as a hat-trick scored by Lamin Correa, was putting us in a very difficult position. We were losing 4-1 already, but our striker Abdel Enjoya scored 64 minutes in and found a brace in the 91st minute. But that's not it. We got a penalty in the 94th minute and Domantas Antanavicius got a chance to equalize. He converted it and we somehow went from 4-1 down to a 4-4 draw in the end. We stayed in the top 3, only 4 points behind the leaders Banka Garkzdaj. What's more, our striker, Abdel Njoya, is in fantastic form and is leading the top scoring charts. He is going to get some new support. That new support is a left winger Eligijus Jankauskas, who joined us from Šiauliai for 130,000 euros. Fun fact, he also played for SFC Opava, our Build a Nation save in FM24. Full movie available in the top right. But at the halfway point of the season, we started what could be the biggest adventure of this video. Of course, I'm talking about the Conference League. Our first opponents there will be Vilasnia, in real life, runners-up of the Albanian league. Wesley with Antanavicius, that's a 1-2. Leo Ribeiro will get the ball on the right side. Brilliant first touch, and he scores from it. We take the lead over Vilasnia. Oops, that's down the right wing. He's looking for a tap-in. Corrects the cross. Jankauskas with the second goal. Wesley with a pass to Upstas, who takes a strike. It's free. Looking for a pass to the right side. Shedri. He finds Jankauskas, who finishes this with a header. That's 4-0. He now launches Jankauskas with this long ball, who takes a shot. That's 5-0. That's a brilliant display, actually. 5-0. The first leg. Let's see what happens in the second. I decided to rotate and simulate for the second match. We lost 2-0, but it didn't really matter, we were still through. Our opponents in the second round are going to be Tampere and Ilves from Finland. Njoya, Kaka, goes forward, looking for a strike, honesty, Azuazi. We pass to Szczedri. Hits a Trivela, and that hit the crossbar. Final minute highlight. In the first leg of the second qualifying round, Kaka makes a cross to Kozlauskas, who hits it with a header. First leg done, 0-0 draw against a team from quite obviously a bit stronger league. Positive result, but what we want is a win away in Finland. With a con on the left side. Delivers it to the near post, but Oinas with a fantastic save here. Keeps possession, but we win it back very quickly, although we just gave it away. We just gave it away, and Kivimäki scores the opening goal. Randall gets past him. Randall still. What a solo run, honestly, what a run, but this is it for us in the Conference League. It was a positive adventure, but I truly expected more. Though with us being knocked out, we could now focus on the league. The league where we kept our decent form. We still rarely scored more than 1 goal per game, but this did not stop us from keeping up with the title race. Banka Garkzdaj leads the league, but we're only 2 points behind, and Kauno Žalgiris are just 1 point behind us and still in real contention. But before the deciding round of the league, we still had one more tournament to play in. The Lithuanian Cup is called the LFF Taure. It's a simple knockout tournament involving all the clubs in the country. We easily progressed to the semi-final after getting past the lower league sides, Ukmergė, Sanet and Vabrungas. In the semi-final, we took on Kauno Žalgiris. Unfortunately, Kauno dominated, and it showed when in the second half they scored 3 goals in 8 minutes. We still interrupted them with Kozlauskas scoring 54 minutes in. Remakis tried to give us hope in the 73rd, but it wasn't enough. We finished our Lithuanian Cup adventure in the penultimate round. And now, it's time to find out if the third time is the charm. Can we win the league? We started with a draw versus Šiauliai and yet another draw to Panevėžys. However, we still could take the lead in the very next game. We're only 3 points behind the leaders Banka Garkzdaj, who are also our very next opponents. We kick it long. Well, not too long, because it goes to the right wing of Jankauskas, who loses the header. MC's was offside. Wesley finds Kaka on the right wing. Brilliant pass to the right back. He can now square it or score by himself. We take the lead over the leaders. Banka Garkzdaj are losing 1-0. Jankauskas can cut inside or pass it back. And Kozlauskas scores the second of the crossbar. Gets past the defender. Remakis in the area. Kozlauskas scores the third into the bottom corner. The board was so impressed by this, they offered me a new contract. Just don't tell them the save only lasts 1 season. But they had the reason for us to extend the stay. We won over already relegated Rytariai, and with this win, the title race truly was on. We won against Džiugas and Kauno Žalgiris, but only achieved a goalless draw against Dainava. But our title rivals only achieved draws against Rytariai and Džiugas. This means, with 2 games to go, we are 2 points ahead of Banka Garkzdaj. If we win against Žalgiris Vilnius and Banka drop points, we will win the league with 1 game to spare.
Radinovic launches a long ball to Enjoya, who came from the bench. He has a chance to give us the lead with a header. He does give us the lead. 85 minutes in. We've taken the lead over Žalgiris Vilnius. He finds Petkovic. It's not looking good. He's having... What a chance. And he scored it. He had to score it. It wasn't the result we wanted. We were so close from having a major advantage into the final match day, but we just couldn't hold on to the result. So, if we win against Suduva Mariampole, we are guaranteed to be champions. The task is very simple here. Jonata fights Sanoko, who has a chance on the 1v1. It's not a good start. It's not a good start. Radinovic has a chance to maybe launch Kozlowska's forward. He gets past the defender. Brilliant dribbling here. Can he square it? He scores by himself. Donatas Kozlauskas. Currently it's a draw. Sanoko. He's already scored today. This time he makes across to Dieng. Close was offside. No, it's not. Oh no. Ribeiro now has a chance to quickly respond. He responds. Fantastic half volley. Sanoko to Dieng. It's not looking good. Oh no. Again, with 2 minutes of regular time to go. Wesley has a chance. Szczedry. He could have equalized. Long ball to Leo Ribeiro. Gets it on the right side. Just square it. Just square it at this point. Enjoya! Stopped by the keeper. We're going to lose the title in the final match day. We had a genuine chance of claiming the very first. It looks like I'm still waiting for my very first trophy in Football Manager 26. Way too many draws and our inability to often score more than one goal cost us the Lithuanian League title. We matched Hegelman's real-life achievement, but we know we were able to exceed it. At least, Abdel Enjoya became a top scorer with 21 goals. The cup final saw a Žalgiris derby, and it was the team from Kaunas who lifted the trophy with 3 goals in extra time. The youth intake in Lithuania happens at the end of September, but the only interesting player there did not even come from Lithuania. That player was Dalibor Karadzic from Montenegro. He is a mentality monster. He signed the contract, and with it, we finished our adventure in Lithuania. This means we tested every new league in Football Manager 26. Which new league was your favorite? Which league will you try out for yourself? Let me know in the comments down below. And as you're on the way there, you can also like and subscribe. Is Football Manager 26 a good game? I think it is. But my start to it was a disaster. Why? Check out this video, where I tried to take charge of Crystal Palace and it didn't go to plan.